The will king will stand up. May the will king stand up.
The remix.
You know, guys, I feel like singing. I'm not a singer, but I feel like this is at that moment in time where we are right now. I'm thinking Marvin Gaye, what's going on? What's going on?
Well, don't stop
So,
there. Keep going. What's going on?
no, I'll leave it to the singers, Um, really, what is absolutely going on? What the heck is going on? Hello, guys. This is Lady Sussex here with another podcast very quickly after the last one we released, probably like, maybe a day ago. um, I'm lost of words. But this is where the art of war, it's working. They are falling like flies. Here come Mr. Jeremy Clarkson with a non-apology apology. The nerve that he's going to send an apology to whom? He claimed it was Harry and Meghan, but the response from Harry or Camp is that it was only addressed to Harry. So before I get into deep into this, let me introduce my guests here with me today, which I'm so lucky to have them because they are very busy people and have so much going on in their life, personal life and work wise, and so much is going on and good things and some is not too good, but I'm not here to talk about their business. So, Charles is here. How are you, Charles?
Hey, hey, doing all right. Still waiting for that Marvin Gaye remix.
The only one here is, of course, Mr. Introduce yourself.
Mr. What?
Introduce
Come on, what's
yourself.
my name?
What is your name, George? Of course, George. Come on, you've been
Hello,
here for a
everybody.
long time. So, Willie, what is going on? I'm trying to figure it out. I mean, it's a non-stop thing. Can you guys explain to me what's happening here? Because Mr. Jeremy, what did you guys made off of his apology, non-apology thing?
Well, I think that, I think you stated it fairly well. It's a apology, non-apology. So I think that he realized that he was coming up for another contract with Amazon and his other providers, and thought that he needed to actually say something. I don't think he quite realized how upset everyone really got, and then truly how that painted him, who already has a fairly scandalous reputation, and how people just aren't taking his crap anymore. So, and I think I think he was right in thinking that way because apparently Amazon has dropped him, as well as
Wow.
IGTV. So,
Wow.
I mean, and that's a fairly substantial deal. That was a huge contract. It was a
Wow.
huge coup for him to come over from the BBC over to Amazon.
And that was a good comeback for him because I mean, full disclosure here, we watched a couple of his show. I think it was like what was the name of
A
it
Top
again?
Gear.
No,
Oh, The
Top
Farm.
Gear, that was like
Clarkson's Farm.
no, he had the farm, and then his new show. I
The
think it
Grand
was like the
Tour.
Grand Tour,
Yeah.
which we watch a couple very good episodes. I really enjoy it. And me personally, like I mean, until I find out and know so much of the garbage that he's been putting out there, and there's claim allegedly even racist stuff. I mean, obviously, I mean, all that is alleged, but I'm now just learning so much about this man. But really, I did really like him. I like his show. I think he was cool. I think, Three Good Friends. And for me, from outside looking in, this is the type of guy you think that would have stand up for the little man. You know, at no time he give you, at least I didn't see the attitude like, I mean, he looks like, a little bit like, you know, um, uppy with his friend and stuff like that, but his friends always got him. Like, I really like the vibe, and they look like just regular, normal people. Like, for me, it looks like the type of guy that would have stand up for Meghan and Harry. Like, he looks like the type of guy that will stand up, for racism. He looks like the type of guy that will fight for little men. He just looked like a common guy. I mean, I don't know too much about him, but allegedly, this is not the first time this guy been in trouble in
Yeah,
the
no,
media, but he's always get away with it.
well, I think that's just it. He's been in trouble a lot. He's said a lot of disparaging things about everybody except white males, I think, at this point. So he's a fairly well documented misogynist. I actually haven't really heard that much of his racial remarks because that would obviously taint, you know, my view of him if I ever watched his shows, and I did enjoy his shows. But certainly, I mean, it doesn't take long to actually go ahead and do a Google search and be able to find it. But I mean, I think that's, it's finally catching up. I think that the amount of backlash was so large through such a large swath of people that were very important that I don't think that Amazon really could accept it. And then I also think that it's coming off of the heels of, him being booted by the BBC for smacking a producer because he didn't get his steak, during one of the breaks.
Allegedly.
No, I mean, it's documented. I mean, it's
Well,
actually in press, and it's, I mean, so.
Allegedly.
Yeah, we can.
I'll still say allegedly.
Okay, allegedly.
Because, again,
But my point being is
Yeah.
that he was already basically fired for inappropriate behavior.
Mhm.
I think that he was on a fairly short leash, not realizing that he was so over at Amazon. And then when this international backlash happened, I think they were pretty quick to cut the cord.
and for you, George,
Well, it's interesting. I think you say he was on a short leash. I'm wondering if it's actually the opposite is true, and he was, because of the success that he had commercially, that he was actually given fairly significant latitude to behave however he wanted, just because of the success he was able to bring to a show. And I think if that's the case, it actually just goes to show it's a testament to the impact of Harry and Meghan and Harry's book, and how many copies it sold, how quickly, how much people are talking about it, how much people care, and the fact that so many people care that much about it. Just goes to show you it doesn't matter how long his leash was. It's not enough to overcome the movement that Harry and Meghan have created.
exactly. I to be honest, it's been a month to the day, from what I understand, is that he's finally coming out with this non-apology. I mean, he did come out before, but it wasn't really an apology at all, right? He was just addressing the women's that who actually really felt hurt by his word, because in his statement the last time, like when he wrote this really stink article, it was like, what, most people, I think he says everybody on his age group felt the same way. I'm paraphrased because I'm not sure whether, but I think it was something to the idea that, what, people around his age feel the same. So, and there was still nothing done. ITV was still supposedly, from what I understand, allegedly was going to continue his contract. And we had not heard anything from Amazon until Harry book dropped. And it's breaking all record. And that's also Amazon top selling book. Because now they have a business with Harry. Harry is bringing them business. And so, really, the question in my mind at the moment is that, what? All that happened because of the book, in my opinion.
It's true. I think it's honestly fair to say that if Harry's book hadn't sold as well as it had, that there probably wouldn't have been as many consequences, or as significant a consequence for Jeremy, which is disappointing. But to be honest, there's how terrible an apology it was, and even only acknowledging the second attempt, because the first one isn't even really an apology, but it feels still even too short to me, because never mind Jeremy, it's also still the editors of the Sun. Like
Right,
where's the
right.
accountability
Exactly,
for them,
exactly.
and where's their apology as well? Because they are just as complicit in that material having been printed as he
Was it
was.
the sun? Okay, we have to check on that. But
Yeah, no, but I mean, he's right, because I don't think they have issued a formal apology, and I think it's simply because they're not sorry.
so I'll say allegedly. I can't remember which exactly, you know, but it's one of those tabloids,
You doubting my
right?
memory? We're gonna put money on this in the next episode. If I'm right,
Oh,
you're gonna
I'm
pay
sure
me
you're
on the.
probably
You're gonna
right.
pay
I'm
me on
sure
the
you're
next
but
episode.
there's so much
How much
happening
money?
and so
$5?
fast. Oh God, please, George. Um, there's so much happening constantly. It's so hard to keep up with everything. Um, but I think also the network, they are starting to take notice, because I think that, you know what, again, with the sales of the book, and as much they try to sort of like, oh my God, his book is being dropped at $14 or £14, or the fact that, you know what, they didn't think that, you know what, he was going to sell as much he did. There was so much kind of like, oh, is there anything we didn't know before? He's tried to sell his family. They did pretty much everything to turn people away from the book. And one day I think 1,400,000 and something sold. And that was not really included anywhere else in the world, that book, sort of now the numbers are started coming out. I think the last I look, it was something about 700,000 copy in just Ireland itself, in God knows, and it's counting. I mean, we have not talked about Spain, we haven't talked about France, we haven't talked about many 16 different countries. From what I understand, the book is being sold at. And so far, it's like the numbers are just now started coming out. So, and I think the network are starting taking notice. Even with sort of Good Morning Britain, as discussing, I think the conversation that I was listening, you know, seems to coming from a place of being reasonable, a place of fair. I mean, we still want more from them. We want them to sort of separate the nastiness, the garbage, the nonsense, and get into really what's matter. But at least I'm going to give them some credit that at least now, the lady that used to work, I can't remember her name, but anyway, she's at least now, it's a, well, it wasn't with an apology. Like, she's standing, and she have done it before once in a while, but for most part she usually with the rest of them. And I truly feel like something is changing, something is in the air. So let's move because again we have something else that we need to talk about. It's this idea that it seems like the royal family now is they talking about a peace talk, from based on what's been reported, sources and all that. And again, the power of the book, the power of the art of war.
It's
What are
true.
you guys made of with that?
It's true, and I think there's a recognition from all parties, not just the British press, but there's no way that the royal family is not well aware of the success of the book, and because of that, they know that they have to address Harry and Meghan. They actually have to try to engage them in some way. They can't ignore them because they have too much influence at this point. They care too much about too many people care too much about what Harry and Meghan have to say. So they must be paying attention, and it doesn't surprise me at all that based on the success of the book so far, that there's some rumors starting to circulate about how the royal family wants to have peace talks.
Now, they're paying rapt attention. If they weren't paying such close attention, they wouldn't have actually tried to leak the book, almost a week in advance. They tried every trick they could think of in
Well,
order to...
allegedly, we don't know who actually, leaked the book. What we did know is that, what, the press get, sort of the book because there was a mistake made that they put the book on sale a little bit too early. And then obviously the tabloid get hands on the book. They tries to translate it, and they started putting a lot of things about Harry's military stuff that really they thought that was gonna damage him without any kind of facts on exactly what it is that he actually say. There was no um, good based on what they were saying. I think it was an they were really trying to push people away.
They're doing their best to
They were
undermine.
doing the best.
They're doing their best
Exactly.
to undermine the book.
To
Is
undermine the
the
books.
point?
And again, it didn't work. And I think it shocked them. I think they realized that, what, the old models is just not working. It really not working. Something has changed. And the thing is, it's really simple. I mean, there's so much lie, there's so much sort of make up stuff that you can make when your country, your island is in crisis and you're having 17, 18 page about people that was not even living in the country right now, who's minding their business, who's doing their thing, and you keep putting stuff out, eventually people stop listening to you.
Well, I think it's that, and then I also think it's the fact that it's just most of what they've done is so provably false. So it's, I think people are using at, their better judgment, and at least, what they continue to say, and they start beating the same drum, is that people are starting to dismiss it a bit, just simply because they know that, the likelihood that it's false is fairly high. Of course, some people like what they say, and I'm probably the people who mostly read those tabloids are probably of that ilk because they read it for a reason. But at the same point, some don't. And, I think they're probably starting to kind of fray that middle line because they're just, they're just so actively and obviously attacking this woman without cause.
It is mad. It is really, really mad. And they lost an amazing opportunity where they could really have Meghan and Harry under the belt. I mean, even for me, one of the things that I used to think about is that even if the family had just used Meghan and Harry, like, even if they had get, you know, like everything that they do, they took credit for it, whatever the case is, just to make the other ones, look strong, whatever, use them and everything, continue with that whole thing of Fab Four. I don't think that would have diminished anything about the hierarchy, the fact that, what, the brother's going to be king and, his wife going to be queen. In fact, it would have been a great and look like, a community, like they're supporting each other. And, I mean, I even fantasize, in the beginning to see Meghan and his brother wife together, doing things and supporting each other, even though if they probably would have given her credit and applaud, what a big sister she is and things like that. I would have been okay with that because they did that when they present to each other, like saying, oh, Meghan was trying to copying her how to sit down, how to cross her legs and all that. Whatever the case is, like it would have been cool. It would have been like the two brothers stand by together, supporting him. Like how nice that would have been. And I think in the book that even Harry, in spite of everything they put him through, everything, he still had that hope himself that it would have been four of them. So what a missed opportunity. And the sad part is even Charles, after he did this really incredible thing, walk Megan down the aisle, I don't think he understands how many people in the community, people around the world, applaud him for that kindness, applaud him, and really would have been there for him and push him. Because for many people around the world, it's almost like some people feel like, you know what? come on, mother, and let him be king, let him be king, let him do his things, whatever, because everybody kind of somehow feels sorry for him being waiting for so long, whether or not that he will ever see, the throne to be sitting down on the chair. And there was really a lot of sympathy, empathy for him. And when he sort of showing Meghan that kindness and then walked down the aisle with Meghan's mother, I mean, there was no dry eyes. Everybody was crying. And I don't know who their PR, who tell them that was the wrong way to go. And that would have changed the whole course of the monarchy. Because at this moment, right now, we are hearing that Jamaica went out. So
Full speed ahead. Not just out, but full speed ahead.
full speed
The
ahead,
Republic.
and that's reported. I believe what a lot of the media is reporting this. I mean, obviously, I need to read a little bit more about it, but this is insane. Because the last trip the brother took there right before the queen passed, and with his wife, just did not look good for them. And they don't seem like the thing is, it seems like, what, all these things is happening, and nobody is stopping them. Say, let's put a break. I mean, I get a lot of those tabloid, a lot of these folks are fighting for their job. They are fighting. The fact is that, what, this is the way they always known. This is what we do. This is the playbook. This is how we do it. And now they push Harry in a place where, I mean, he just dropped the mic. He just dropped a bomb on them, because now there's nothing they really can write about. They can't blackmail him. They can't. There's nothing they can say about this man. And all the books that's been written, couple months before, gonna need to be corrected. The history is been, you know, need to be written, because I mean it. Please help me here, because I'm losing my words. I don't know how to say things.
No, I think
and
you. I think
I'm all
it's.
over the place.
I think that's exactly it. It's the power of actually speaking the truth. It is the power of owning your own story. And when your own story is relying on the truth, then there's not that much that anyone else can do. They could try to rewrite history, but at the end of the day, you've already put it out there. You've already made that statement. And when so many people care to listen to what you have to say, then it leaves those who wish you harm or wish you ill, leaves them very little recourse. And so what they've done is incredible.
Well, to that point, I think something that you said should be emphasized. Their common playbook is that they had the largest audience. So typically they would, they write history, right? The winners and the victors, they are the ones that write history. And so they've always had the loudest mouthpiece, and then eventually they could just overwhelm and overtalk anyone who actually dared oppose them. And then eventually, just because of consistency and because of just, the repetition, they would be able to just drown out any other voice that happened to be in opposition to them, because they basically had the biggest megaphone. This may be the first time that they've actually faced someone with as equal, if not bigger, megaphone than they had. And I don't think they were ready for it. They just knew Harry as this poor little guy who basically was the spare, and he's kind of running around, and they could have beat him up for years, and so they were used to it, and they just basically played the same old playbook that, okay, well, look, we're just going to keep on punching down at this poor guy, and he's going to take it, and then we're going to sell more papers because they only exist for controversy, so they're just going to stir up this controversy and make some more money. But what they did not anticipate is that, one, he matured as a person, and that he found someone who he could partner with that basically took a life of its own and made an entire audience globally. and an entire global brand that obviously would dwarf kind of their own subscribers. And so now they no longer own that narrative because they no longer have the biggest megaphone. And so you see all these ripple effects. And it's just cascading down. And you can see it right now between the lawsuit of what's going out, between what's going on, and obviously the lawsuit and everything that's kind of followed thereafter. To even Jeremy Clarkson, the whole thing relies on the fact that they just have such a large audience who care so passionately that they actually have power. And now that someone else actually has power, it's like a bully. Now they just don't know what to do. They're just panicked and like they're frozen. And so all they know how to do is basically swing some more, but they just, they know they're going to lose the fight at this point. And so I think that's one of the reasons why, these new rumors are going out around trying to make good or make Meghan go away or whatever they're going to do. But they're going to have to try and find some way to make this right because they know at the end of the day, if this continues to go the way that it is, the monarchy itself actually could be at jeopardy.
Yeah, I think exactly the point we said earlier is that losing the fight, and they don't know what to do, and they're just throwing everything out there. Like the next thing that will jump is this disgusting thing that I don't know is true, and I hope is not true, and I hope is really that it did not come from Charles or the palace or anybody from the palace, but it's reported that they allegedly want to give Meghan Markle $50 million to move on, so Harry don't destroy himself. I don't really get it. Why is he destroying himself? That's number one. What does that mean? Like should we look a little bit more deep into destroying himself, because I don't see how he's destroying himself, you know. And 50 millions to Meghan Markle to what? To leave him? To divorce him? Like what? I, this is so disgusting. I'm losing my thoughts. I'm looking. Like, I don't know what to say.
It is truly disgusting if it's true. And I think, unfortunately, where my head is anyway, is having seen everything that's transpired over the last few months and what has been shared on all sides, it seems fairly plausible, unfortunately. The sad thing is that it just goes to show that there is a lack of sincerity in when they say that they wanted to welcome Meghan and that they wanted her to be a part of the family and that they even still do care about her. All of those things. If this is the truth right now, that what's been reported, then it just shows all of that is just a sham and worse.
Wow. Last word, Charles.
Yeah. I mean, my own thought about it is that it very well may be true, and they just simply floated the idea through an anonymous channel to see if there's anything that sticks. I give these people no credit. The fact that it is gross, it is disgusting, it is demeaning, it is all of these things, but it is also not unexpected.
Wow. I'm like so. I don't know. Like my emotion is everywhere. Some days I'm happy, some days I'm scared. I mean, I know Harry is totally in control of what he's doing. It's very obviously he's getting more and more support behind the squads, and everyone is taking note. Everyone is sort of listening because he's saying something people has been feeling for a very long time. People being wanted someone to actually say it. I think people is in shock. People don't know what to do. But what I do know, people are buying the book. And people that you used to be against him who didn't know, it's coming towards him now. Just because he opens up. He was really vulnerable. He just let it all out. He literally showing us, all of us, for anybody. At the end of it all, true is true. Love wins. And in a lighter note, guys, You know how much I love Miss Terry Lyons. She's incredible. What a beauty. What a lovely superstar. And I love the song that he did for Harry. I know the last episode that, we sort of, started it with that. What did you guys make of it? Really? I mean, we got to make this number one.
We got to. The whole thing. It's just gold.
I mean, it's gold.
Every
Please,
verse.
guys, just go check it out on YouTube. It's really incredible. The whole thing, it's funny. It's almost like a sketch, and she's beautiful. So I just love it. But so we're gonna end the show. So we'll end the show again with Miss Terry Lyons. Please go and check it out and support it and go to her Instagram.
And the thing is, Charles, with this, if this alleged offer is true, he really should have been paying attention to what Miss Terry Lyons had to say. So we'll just leave it at
Terry
that.
Lyons. Oh my God, guys. Well, goodbye. Another show. And we'll see you guys soon.
You'll never go back. The Queen say, Harry, my grandson, you was always happy with the rules that we set, but she can't feel what Harry is feeling because she never eat a black meat yet. Hey, everybody at home, go Harry. Say, go Harry. Lisa, go Harry.
Go Harry. Go Harry. Go Harry.
Good night.